The confirmed number of coronavirus cases in Los Angeles County comes to 1,214,683. The confirmed number of deaths reaches 22,806. Here in Torrance, the total number of confirmed cases is 6,954, with total confirmed deaths at 190. We anticipate those numbers to increase as the county updates its last 24-hour operating period. Welcome to COVID-19 Today. I'm Leslie Robbins. It's 4 p.m. on Monday, March 22nd. As daily COVID-19 case rates continue to decline, the county's public health department is finding that younger residents are still driving the majority of the daily infections. Los Angeles Department of Public Health held a press conference this afternoon reminding those who are eligible to get a vaccine should sign up and not wait. They also shared that LA County residents younger than 50 continue to account for a majority of the new cases. The department's health director, Dr. Barbara Ferrer, said just because certain activities can resume or are reopening with revised protocols, that does not mean that those activities are safe or without risk. She urged the public to continue to stay vigilant, to continue to social distance, wear masks, and avoid large gatherings. She reminds the community that while gathering with people who have no symptoms and have tested negative can still result in the spread of the virus to many people. The U.S. has met President Joe Biden's goal of administering 100 million coronavirus vaccinations in his first 100 days. The White House announced the nation is now in position to help neighboring countries, Canada and Mexico, with millions of life-saving shots. The Biden administration revealed the outlines of a plan to loan a limited number of vaccines to those countries, as the U.S. is nearly 40 days ahead of the projected deadline he gave himself. Biden said at 58 days into the administration, they have met their goal and promised to unveil a new vaccination target this week, as the U.S. is on pace to have enough of the 3 currently approved vaccines to cover the entire adult population within just 10 weeks from now. On average, the U.S. is administering about 2.2 million doses a day across the country and is expected to rise later this month as the country's supply increases. According to data from the CDC, injections of 96 million doses have been reported to the agency since Biden's inauguration. The White House says that more than 22 million vaccine doses will be distributed in the next 7 days. California may soon be able to offer the COVID-19 vaccine to anyone who wants it, eliminating the tier system as early as May. California Governor Gavin Newsom recently said that he anticipates within 5.5 weeks, he hopes to eliminate tiering and make the vaccine available to everybody across the spectrum, as the supply will exponentially increase. Los Angeles County is expected to receive about 280,000 doses of the Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson vaccine this week. Dr. Paul Simon, the chief science officer for the LA County Public Health Department, said that given the progress already being made in vaccinations, if supplies dramatically increase by late April or early May, the county could move quickly through the rest of the population. Now, the city of Los Angeles plans to administer about 70,000 doses of the vaccine at its 7 large-scale city-run sites, reserving about 50,000 of those doses for first appointments and the remainder for second dose appointments. About 2,000 one-dose J&J vaccines are also expected this week. LA County has already administered nearly 3.23 million doses of a COVID-19 vaccine, including more than 1 million second doses. Well, there could be a 4th COVID-19 vaccine maker joining the market soon, as Astrazeneca reported strong results from their U.S. study. The pharmaceutical company said their vaccine showed to be 79% effective overall at preventing symptomatic cases of COVID-19, including older people, and 100% effective in preventing hospitalizations or severe symptoms. Astrazeneca officials plan to apply for the emergency use authorization in early April, putting it on track to boost the vaccine supply chain by May, the same time frame that President Joe Biden wants to make vaccines available to the general public. A Food and Drug Administration Advisory Committee will publicly debate the evidence behind the AstraZeneca shots before the agency decides whether to allow emergency use. The company says if the FDA okays the vaccine, they will be able to deliver 30 million doses immediately and another 20 million within the first month. The AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine has already been granted authorization in more than 50 countries. Well, a year after remote learning, a new survey is finding that families have taken a mental and physical toll from isolation, virtual learning, and the pandemic lockdown. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention surveyed nearly 1,300 parents and found that almost 46% of children were remote learning, only with nearly 31% going to school for in-person instruction, and 23% were in a hybrid mix of the two. Now, the findings showed that parents of children who learned remotely had worse outcomes for their kids on 11 of 17 stress and well-being indicators compared to kids who went to school for in-person instruction. Parents who had children who were remote learning also showed they were more likely to report loss of work, emotional distress, difficulty sleeping, and other issues. The CDC says the findings suggest that virtual instruction might present more risks than in-person instruction related to child and parent mental and emotional health and some health supporting behaviors. The recently passed $1.9 trillion COVID-19 relief bill will allocate $122 billion to schools across the country to speed up the process of bringing children back on campus. Well, as more children return to the classroom in California this week, the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention also released new guidance. As students were first brought back on campus for in-person learning at 6 feet apart, authorities say now children can sit closer at 3 feet apart and still limit the risk of infection. The CDC relaxed its social distancing guidance for schools, saying nationwide students can sit closer as long as they wear their masks. The agency recommends students still remain 6 feet apart at sporting events, assemblies, lunch, or chorus practice. This change will allow for more children to learn together in the same classroom, just as more schools are set to welcome back students. Families who are dealing with the loss of a loved one due to COVID-19 may get some financial help to cover funeral expenses. A new program run by the Federal Emergency Management Agency plans to allocate $2 billion or $7,000 per family for COVID-19 related funeral costs. FEMA officials say a toll-free number will be available to the public by April, saying with empathy being a priority, they want to be able to case manage and have human-to-human interactions and make sure that they do it in a way that supports everyone's needs. FEMA says to be sure to gather documents like a death certificate that ties the death related to COVID-19, show that the death occurred in the U.S., funeral expense documents like receipts that include your name, the deceased person's name, and the amount of the funeral expense. President Joe Biden, along with Vice President Kamala Harris, made a trip to Atlanta on Friday, where they met with Asian community leaders regarding the recent deadly spa shooting that killed 8 people. Leaders from the Georgia Asian American and Pacific Islander community met with the president and VP at Emory University. Biden said, quote, "Hate can have no safe harbor in America. calling on all Americans to stand up to bigotry when they see it. He continued to say, quote, "Our silence is complicity, and we cannot be complicit." President Biden ordered all United States flags to be flown at half-staff until sunset tonight. Anti-Asian hate crime in major U.S. cities were up by 150% in 2020. That's according to a new report published by the Center for the Study of Hate and Extremism at California State University, San Bernardino. The study found the first surge in violence against Asian Americans last year as COVID-19 cases spiked in March and April. New York City saw the largest increase, followed by Boston, then Los Angeles. Researchers studied both hate crimes that took place in 2019 and 2020 from authorities in 16 of America's largest cities. It found that while crime in 2020 decreased overall by 7%, those targeting Asian people rose by nearly 150%. Of the 8 people recently killed in the Atlanta area shooting, 6 were of Asian descent. This has prompted a number of celebrities and community leaders to come forward, calling for an end to the violence and seeking ways to support families of the victims. The awareness has also helped to raise funds for several of the family members who've lost loved ones in the shooting. One person's GoFundMe page asking for help to raise $20,000 for funeral expenses for his mom has now raised close to $3 million as of Sunday. More than a dozen lawmakers testified on Capitol Hill last week in a hearing on discrimination and violence against Asian Americans. The organization Stop AAPI Hate has documented close to 3,800 incidents that involved hate crimes against Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders since the start of the pandemic. The Torrance Police Department released a statement on their social media page following the Atlanta area shooting. Interim Police Chief John McGeff said, quote, "The Torrance Police Department is very concerned about the alarming increase in reports of hate crimes across the country. We are privileged to serve a very diverse community and strongly condemn any crime that is motivated by prejudice on the basis of race, religion, sexual orientation, or other grounds. The Torrance Police Department is committed to vigorously investigating any report of a hate crime in our jurisdiction and will assist in the prosecution of anyone who engages in such crime to the fullest extent of the law. To report a crime, suspicious activity, call 911 immediately. If you want to file a police report or have questions, you can call this number at 310-328-3456. More local businesses continue to reopen here in Torrance. Del Amo Fashion Center's AMC 18 welcomed back visitors to watch blockbuster hits on the big screen once again. The AMC at Del Amo is one of more than 40 locations that reopened in Los Angeles and San Diego counties on Friday, with 99% of all of their U.S. theaters to reopen by this coming Friday, March 26. As part of the reopening efforts, patrons will be asked to wear masks at all times except for when drinking or eating in their seats. When purchasing seats online or in person, surrounding seats will automatically be blocked to help ensure social distancing within the auditorium. High-touch areas will be routinely sanitized and disinfected, along with the theater, LA Fitness, as well as the restaurant at Dave & Buster's, along with the mall food courts. They're all welcoming back customers with limited capacity. To see what businesses are allowed to reopen under the red tier and at what capacity, be sure to check out the city's COVID-19 resource page at torranceca.gov/COVID-19. Well, if you're a wine enthusiast looking to pursue a new career, one California winery is offering a dream job with benefits. Murphy Good Winery announced they're looking for candidates from across the U.S. for a year-long position based out of Sonoma County, someone who wants to follow their passion for wine and winemaking. The candidate will live in the small town of Healdsburg and spend the first 90 days of the job shadowing winemaker Dave Reddy Jr., the son of one of the winery's founders. They will learn all aspects of harvesting, operating a winery, and also help promote the brand. The job pays $10,000 a month, along with free housing and a year's supply of wine. Now, interested applicants must be, of course, 21 or older and must submit a short video explaining their ideal role in the wine industry and what they would bring to the Murphy Good Winery. The company says creativity and humor is a plus. Applications are being accepted through the end of June. You can go to murphygoodwinery.com. Well, here's another sweet deal that you won't want to pass up. Krispy Kreme made an announcement today that anyone who's gotten at least one of the 2-dose COVID-19 vaccines or the Johnson & Johnson single dose can come in for a free donut at stores nationwide. Now, what's even sweeter is that it's not a one-time offer. The deal lasts through the remainder of 2021, which means, yes, technically you can get a free donut every day for the rest of the year at Krispy Kreme. Now, the offer is only valid in person or drive-through. All you need to bring is your vaccination record and ID. Krispy Kreme Chief Marketing Officer Dave Skina said they want to show support to everyone for doing their part to make the country safe by getting vaccinated. Well, imagine the option of riding Los Angeles metro buses and trains for free. Well, the 18-month Fairless System Initiative study is underway, and the pilot program is offering free rides on metro buses and rail service for low-income riders starting in the new year, expanding it to K-12 students next summer. The agency is currently studying ways to eliminate fares and make it feasible, and they want to hear from the community. LA Metro is hosting a telephone town hall at the end of this month, and they're hoping you'll share your opinions on how a fairless system could impact the way you use mass transit. The project has also been presented at 5 local service council meetings, including San Fernando Valley, San Gabriel Valley, the West Side, Gateway Cities, and the South Bay region. These meetings have taken place throughout the month of March. The Metro's local service councils helps with planning and implementation of Metro services in the 5 geographic regions. The LA Zoo is launching its first ever fitness fundraiser, taking participants on a global trek to raise funds for wildlife and wild places. Registration is now open for Walk for the Wild, a fun and educational way to help the LA Zoo and its work to save threatened species. The actual event will run from Earth Day on April 22nd through Endangered Species Day on May 21st. Participants can virtually travel around the world and explore the zoo's global conservation impact. Participants will walk, bike, run, swim, or dance, and then track that real-world movement on a virtual map to 8 global destinations. The goal is for all participants to walk a collective 14,000 miles across the world. For all of this hard work, participants will be awarded digital fitness and fundraising badges, exclusive content, and rewards based on the fundraising level. You can also join friendly competitions and win prizes. From now through the end of the fitness challenge on May 21st, people can register, create a fundraising page, and set fitness goals. Before the challenge officially begins on April 22nd, you can participate in weekly challenges to prepare and get inspired for the walk and to meet fitness and fundraising goals. Now, the program is open to those 13 years and up, and winners of the largest team, top individual and team fundraising, plus longest distance awards will be announced on May 22nd. The total amount raised by this global fitness adventure will also be revealed. To learn more and to register, visit lazoo.org/walkforthewild. Well, before we go, at the end of each program, we like to share feel-good stories from our community. Pictures, images, and videos that remind us of how resilient our community is and how Torrance truly cares. The Torrance Transit Department celebrated Operators Appreciation Day recently, honoring all those who continue to serve residents by driving them to their daily destinations. From home to work to school, the grocery store, or to visit a loved one, the Torrance Transit has continued to provide a safe ride to everyone, even eliminating bus fares during the pandemic. Here's a look at a video put together by the Transit Department to show off all the heroes that work there. What a great way to show how Torrance cares, one ride at a time. Now, if you have a great story, upcoming event, a photo or video you'd like to share, email us at covid19today@torranceca.gov. We'd love to hear from you. Well, that's our update for COVID-19 today. Be sure to tune in tomorrow as Rhiannon Chutanich brings you the latest. Please be safe, stay healthy, and thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.